Johnny. It's good to see you.
Bridget, great seeing you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you could join us on our very first designer series. It's been really fun working with you in the past, and I'm excited to ask you a few questions. And I guess the first one I actually have for you. So you're in Kansas City, correct?
I am, yeah. It's snowing really hard right now.
Is it oh, is it? Oh, well, that's like Minnesota here. I mean, we got plumb full of it. So are you in the Kansas City that the Chiefs are in?
Yeah. So Kansas City, you have a line in between Kansas and then Missouri. I'm on the Missouri side, which is a better side.
Okay. And so are you a football fan then? Were you heartbroken?
You know, I have to be a football fan living in Kansas City, but, I didn't grow up with football. But over time, I became definitely a Chiefs fan. So definitely it was pretty depressing. Had a lot of friends here. But you know what? We did great. We made it to the Super Bowl. That's a great accomplishment.
Well, and I think, too, like going against Tom Brady is kind of it's a tough mural. He's just amazing. I mean,
he's good.
Yeah. A few questions here. So I've done some homework on you. You know, we've collaborated in the past, but you definitely seem like a very busy, talented, hardworking guy. So I was hoping you could just, tell me a little bit about you and your past, the journey you've been through.
Yeah, I been in real estate now for 12 years. Crazy to say that. Just started with just me being a realtor. And the reason I did it is just because my parents, when I was in college, I convinced my parents, I was like, why would I live here on campus, rent for 4 years? Well, maybe we can buy a house. I was from the East Coast. So I thought, let's see if we can qualify for a second home. I live in it. And after college, maybe my brother can live in it, or I can just, stay and not pay rent. So we got the first rental that way. And when I found out how much commission the realtor got, because I was the one that drove around, found the house online, and I was, called the realtor. She just showed it to us. And then it's like, wow, she made good money from just writing one document.
Yeah.
So I just figured when I was in college, I just got my real estate license on the side because I thought if we do this again, I want to do that. So it just started with me just being a realtor. And then when I moved to the Midwest in Kansas City for an internship, I just saw how the market was crazy cheap at the time. It was, 2010 and 11 when everything was dirt cheap. So I started working with investors. I was the guy in the office where, the new kid that when other realtors had investors wanting to look at $10,000 houses, they would just be like, Johnny, we don't have time for that. Go make your $200 commission. We don't want them. And I was just new. So I was like, okay, I'll take whatever. So, but in the process, I started seeing investors rehab houses, buy them for rentals or flips. And that just got me thinking, oh, I can do that too. So slowly start merging into an investor myself. And then in the process, I started learning, I'd go to a lot of flips. And I don't know why. And, one of the biggest mistakes investors do is they just have the contractors pick everything. So you have these Midwestern contractors, love the Chiefs and beer, and that's all they do. And great, that's what they do. But then they don't really have an eye for design. So they go in and I would just go to these flips in great neighborhood, but everything was just beige. I mean, beige walls, beige tile. And, and I'm just like, come on, you have to have an eye for that because that's where you make the money. Like, the design is everything.
I think that's just really cool. And you've gone through that process, from, being, a realtor who was looking at the lesser end homes to, wanting to rehab them and flip them. And you do a lot of, so do you do Airbnbs too? So you flip them to an Airbnb, or do you do that anymore?
Yeah, so obviously Airbnb slowed down a lot because of the pandemic, but that's another reason why I really had to push myself and learn more about design. Spent many hours online doing it and just learning and getting a better eye for all that. But I have a couple of Airbnbs right now. They're still surviving the pandemic. We kind of downsized and just focused. But I have a couple of Airbnbs, and even that, like I've had one of them has been going on for 4 years, but I have to go, every other year or so and do some updates. That way you just stay on top of everything. So
You mentioned, so you're from Cairo, Egypt?
yeah. I was born, grew up in Cairo, moved to the US when I was 15. So there for a while. So yeah.
Yeah. And do you get back to Cairo often?
I visited 2 years ago. So I probably go every 3 years or so. I love it there. Just chaos, amazing food. Everything is so cheap. And, it's funny too, like last visit, it's interesting when you put your eye on something, you start seeing everything. When you're looking for a yellow car, when you drive, you'll see yellow cars everywhere. So just learning more about architecture and design and different, even going to your website, looking, it took me hours to decide what's the wallpaper and what's the feel. But going through that, not when I was in Egypt, I had just an eye. I'm like, oh, like Eastern style is cool. How do I came back thinking I should have an Airbnb with some of those elements when I was there that I really liked. I went to stayed in a hotel and it was just, and everything's really cheap. So stayed in a nice hotel, but it was all like just old Middle Eastern style. I'm like, wow, I forgot how cool this is. How do I bring that back? So so I visit quite often.
Okay, so another question that I have for you, I'm kind of interested in this because I've seen some of your polls online that you do when you're making decisions, and you even, when we collaborated on the wall mural for your bedroom, you did a poll, with which wall covering should I choose? So,
absolutely.
What drives your design decisions? Do you like to get input from a lot of your people on social media, or?
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm probably going to be, I'm sure you're going to have more interviews and all that. And I'm probably going to be that guy that, unlike a lot of other designers where they went through schooling and they got some, some sort of maybe even degree. And I think that's all awesome. There's definitely value in that. But for me, just learned to wing a lot of things. And, it really works for me really well with my personality style. In some ways, actually, I feel like if I would have gone through real estate, if I wanted to get a degree in real estate related degree or interior design, I feel like I would have learned a lot more. I would have had the right language, but it also can be limiting sometimes because sometimes it puts you in a box. So for me, I would say the thing that really helps me the most is just being open, teaching myself, but also not just teaching myself, but asking questions. So I love Instagram polls. I love asking people. I had someone joke, is like, Johnny, like, do you even pick what you want or do you just have other people pick? I'm like, no, like, you'll be surprised how many times I do polls and I end up going with something else. But it's just so important to just be aware of what people like, not because I have to follow everything people like, but because there's a value. If I'm trying to have an Airbnb that will have guests coming, there's a value knowing what is the wallpaper that's going to attract people to that bedroom versus if I like something very specific and maybe for other people it's just not popular or they don't even get it, even if in my opinion, it's very different. If I'm going to pick for my own house, going to be very different than for an Airbnb because I can be more picky with my own house because if people don't like it, I'm the one in that house. So I've just stopped myself from being online, doing my own research, visiting different websites, getting ideas and inspiration and creating my own style and also being open, hand in hand, asking people. So I do polls all the time. What wallpaper do you like more? What colors would you like if you have this room? Sometimes I'll just take a picture of a room before remodeling it and just ask questions like, what paint color would you like? What kind of cabinet color would you like to see? Would you rather have an island here or not? And it helps a lot because also, not only do I get the poll, which sometimes I would get like 90%, like, wow, okay, I was really out of touch of what people are not ready for my design yet, but also it really helps because sometimes people just give you an idea that you've never thought about. Hey, have you thought of doing it this way? It's like, whoa, I didn't even think we can design it that way. So I love doing that.
What are some of the top trends that, you're seeing throughout the design world right now?
Yeah. So for sure, I'm excited that wallpaper is becoming more embraced because I'll tell you, as a contractor, I have a team that, rehab homes. I used 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we would dread going to a house with old wallpaper. So it was just so hard. But I would go to a house and I'm like, man, that looks cool. Like I can tell, I can see how like it was just this beautiful Victorian room back in the 70s or 60s or vintage wallpaper and stuff. But it was just always a pain to remove. But now I'm just really excited. But I love the idea of having it. And now I'm just really excited because I'm going to hotels now and there are wallpapers. And obviously you guys have products now that makes it really easy to take and peel, and you don't have to damage everything. And, get them, we would like get irons and try to heat up the wallpaper so you can remove it, old wallpaper. So I'm generally really excited about that because I think it just kind of opens a whole different, it's like a different dimensions of design in a room.
So I wanted to mention too, so we talked a little bit about the wall covering you used in your bedroom at your own home, the palm wall covering, the peel.
Gosh, I should have thought of having that interview with that behind me. Didn't think about that, but here it is.
There it is.
Here we go.
So I love this wall covering, and I noticed, like you said, like a lot of things are monochromatic. You have your white walls, your ceiling, you have the bright white baseboards, and then I think using this palm wall covering to kind of give that pop is so cool. And I just wanted to know a little bit about why this mural, why this particular one. And so many people would have their TV on that wall, like looking at it at night, and you decided to do this beautiful wall mural. So I just was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so with the TV, I thought about having a TV, but then I was like, you know what? I don't want to be that guy that stays up late, wasting time, or wake up at the start of the day on a weekend with a TV. So I'm like, TV is in the living room. This is a place where I can read and rest and be away from technology. And that was out of the window. And then I was like, okay, what do I do? And I was thinking maybe get like a couple of pictures on the wall, but I'm like, that's busy. When I wake up, that's the first thing I'm going to see. So I just wanted something that would just fill the wall. And also I wanted something that's, just in some ways, so I have big windows in that room. So kind of like my whole thing with the house, modernizing the house, where I wanted to blend like the outside to the inside. So especially with Kansas City when it gets cold for a while, or I wanted something just to sheer it upward and feels more like nature. And so when I was looking at designs, I was looking at different ideas, like maybe city view, and then I thought, no, I want to wake up and just feel like I'm in a little paradise. Like home is a place of comfort. I wanted it bright, just so that it can go with the white, like you said. So I went with this one. Just one is, it's very comforting, very light. It's not all over the place. Like, for example, I love your wall behind you. It's a little feminine, but I think it would be really cool for an Airbnb, cool an office, kind of like, walls and colors do a lot to our, just psyches and emotions. So behind you, just like, it's like wake up, refreshing, loud, energetic, which is cool. But I wanted something that would do a little bit of wake up and nature, but also has that calm feel. So late at night, evening, it's just like, calm. And so what's more calming than palm trees?
It looks amazing. And so did you have your contractor put it up, or did you put it up, or who installed it?
I did it with a contractor. I mean, it's really easy, but just because it was big, it just was way easier with two people. So my contractor is in there. It's like, hey, let's do this together. And we just got it up pretty quick. I think it was like the whole thing was under 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Yeah. Up and ready. So yeah.
Yeah, it's super simple. And once you're ready to switch it out, like pulling that off is going to be easy, and switching it out, that's going to be an easy process, and your walls won't be damaged. That's the fantastic thing about Smart Stick is it's just, and even for your rental properties, if you have rental properties or your Airbnbs, where you want to use a wall covering, but you don't want to damage the walls once you're ready to change it out, because, wallpaper is just, there's some wallpaper out there that you pull it down, you have gouges in your walls, or,
totally. Yeah.
The paper on the drywall. So that's the nice thing about this product is it's really safe.
Super easy, yeah. And I will, I'll definitely be back, especially with that mansion. I would love to have something maybe a little bit more traditional, timeless. So I will, I'm starting the, we're still like, we're painting it next week. So in a couple of weeks, I'll be coming to you and saying, hey, let's work together again. So,
yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And did you say that that's going to be a 7-plex? Is that?
No, it was going to be 7-plex, but then we decided just, I'm going to just, it's a duplex. So it's a 3-story big mansion. The top floor is going to be like a, kind of like an in-law suite. And then the first 2 floors are together. The first 2 floors are about 4,500 square feet, and the top one is 1,500. Wow. So, and then I have to decide. I really like it, so ideally I want to keep it. But with how big it is, it may be hard to justify renting it out. And Airbnb, they keep, you know, not Airbnb, depending on the city, but they keep making more laws, especially with COVID, not wanting huge places with tons of gatherings. So this one may be a flip, maybe a rental, maybe an Airbnb. We'll find out.
Yeah, kind of an interesting question that I wanted to ask you. So, you know, you dabble in so many different areas, and you seem to be nailing all of them. But which section of your work are you most proud of, and what does it reflect in you? So, you know, all the different jobs that you've had in the past, like what are you most proud of in your line of work?
Yeah, it's a great question. For me, what I feel most excited about now and what I enjoy the most, and I would say I'm most proud of, is the growth that I have kind of had in the past few years with the final stage of finishing a house. So right now, that house that I'm telling you about that we're working on, now is the time. I'm actually just, after we finish, I'm gonna pick the vanities. I picked the kitchen cabinets already. I'm gonna pick the countertops. I'm starting to, you know, paint colors. What else? And then wallpaper and molding. So for me, that final touch is the exciting thing, because I feel like there are thousands, if not millions, of contractors that can do a really good job with the framing and even how the house would flow, like where would everything be, and you know, where every room and what rooms to open, what not, you know. So I feel like a lot of people are really good at that. For me, the most exciting thing to learn is, okay, how can we take it from there and make it better than everyone else?
To close this out, just to make sure to check Johnny out, check out his website, johnnyou.com, his YouTube, which is Johnny You, and his make sure to follow him on Instagram. He's got great stories, and you can follow along with all of his projects and see.
Yeah, just Johnny You everything. So YouTube, you just YouTube and then / Johnny You. Instagram is Johnny You, and website is Johnny You, JOHNNY. Why are you?
But it was so nice talking to you. Thank you for being my first designer interviewee, and being my little guinea pig with this. So
I loved it. This is great. Thank you so much. We'll be working together soon.
Yep. Yes, right. Yes. We'll stay warm in Kansas City and you know, have fun in that snow.
All right, we'll do. Thank you so much.
All right, talk to you later.